first SQL is still going to be interesting. So, in fact, what I even came here to even talk about is some of the experience I've had in some client office that I've worked. Like Nine Mobile, Diamond Bank, Data Center, FCMB. Currently, I'm working on MTN Cameroon project, but I'm working from Lagos in Nigeria because of the corona. We can't go to Cameroon. I am my team, so we're working on MTN Cameroon projects, and it's on big data technology. So it's the new phase that I'm into now. But I must say, I think for those of us that are in our 20s or early 30s, I wasn't sure if I wanted to even go into analytics when I started because I was doing IT. So I was working with the bad guys. We call them bad guys, business application developers at Blue Chip then when I did IT. So I always wanted to go to sites. I always wanted to know what's going on, to just see what they are doing. Like I needed to experience it because I knew they write SQL, they write PLSQL, and I just hear about it, but I haven't been in the space to just sit down and see what they are doing. So I wanted to do that. So I was given a chance one time, and the first site I worked was Diamond Bank. And the first task they gave me, it took me the whole day. I went to the restroom twice. I did not eat, but I was happy that they gave me job. But I did not even know it. So I was just sitting down looking at the job they gave me. And then I would just call somebody, excuse me, sir, please. I don't understand. What do they ask me to do here? So I battled with that thing all through. And my foundation really in the database is actually Oracle. And that was what I started with. And basically it has been like the major part, the major database that I use. And so for most of these companies, most of these guys, what they want. Okay, I'm going to give an instance of Nine Mobile. Now, the SIM card you're using, or let me just say any telco, they have what they call RGE, revenue generating event, or some bank call it revenue generating status. So they want to know what is bringing money for them as a company. And for a telco company, how do they get money? Through recharge card from the customers. Abi, some of them use even if it's transfer, if it's from a mobile channel, whichever way you are doing a voice call, you are either sending SMS or you are on data or you are getting loan from them or you are doing transfer and all of that stuff. Whichever way it is they are doing it, it is bringing money to them. So for some of them or for most of them, they have this particular pattern that they go through. It could be different, but from some of the tasks I did at Nine Mobile, what they would require, like a daily routine. So they have like a transactional processing pattern, and it's like a daily routine process, or monthly, or quarterly, or yearly, whichever way. They want to know how much revenue they're making every day. So they have this data, and they will bring in companies like Blue Chip or Infonomics or Infosys or Octave Analytics, or these BI companies that are into analytics and business intelligence to help them make sense of their data. So the kind of things that they will ask, that is regarding their own policy and their own pattern of what they want. They would want to be knowing the customers that are active. Some of them, they used to segment them. They want to know the guys that are active within now till like 7 days. They want to know the ones that are active within 7 days to 60 days and like that. So for some people that haven't used their SIM for the past 360 days, yeah, they call them churn. That means these guys, they're not there again. So they are probably using another SIM, or maybe they just lost their SIM. And how do they do that? If you're not using a SIM, is for a very long time. That means you are not buying a recharge card on it. You're not doing any voice call on it. There is no SMS. There is no data. They are not making money. Basically, money is not coming out from that particular SIM. So if they notice that for like 360 days, that means you are churned out. You are no longer an active customer. So if they are making their report, all these things are put into consideration to know the amount of active customers they have every day. Now, they have a platform or a system that helps them to keep all this data in place. Some of them are called ECW, Ericsson Charging Wallet. And they have application like Golden Gate is an Oracle application. And all right, that Golden Gate helps to move data from that ECW to the database that is available, right? So now this data is available inside the database, and these guys are always going to be in RDBMS, meaning they are relational. One thing is connecting one table to another table. And for telcos, what connects one table to another table most of the time is MSISDN, or it's called phone number, like you all know it. So your phone number, there's a table called voice CDR. CDR means call detail records. So your number is going to be, your details is going to be on that voice record, voice table. And then your detail is also going to be on SMS. That means you did something regarding SMS. You sent a text message. They are likely not to see the message, but your information is going to be there. That a message was sent or a message was received from so time. Do you understand? Stuff like that. So that is how they track your information to know that, okay, we have 240 million subscribers that did a voice call today, or we have 350,000 customers that borrowed money, stuff like that. Is anyone saying anything?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay, let me continue. So all these kind of informations, they are kept in different tables, and those tables are relational. But now, how do we even, how do we use this SQL, and how do we do most of these things in the business, in the business way? I'm sure some of you already write scripts. Some of you already know some of the SQL commands using DML or DDL. But I'm going to take everybody here also as an expert, one way or the other. So if you guys have any questions, you can just stop me along the line if you want me to explain anything more. Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, we understand.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So in the part of having to load some of this data from, I'm using an instance of 9mobile now, right? So you own your company. You are the one helping 9mobile to analyze their data. Now they've given you access to their database. So you connect to the database. You have your connection string and everything. Now we use, so there are some tools that we use, not just SQL for the query. We use Unix shell scripting also. So we have Unix shell scripting for the ETL, and we use SQL also, and Unix shell scripting. So the Unix shell scripting has some commands that helps us to connect to the file system of the 9mobile server to be pulling their data. Some of them like their data in real time, some like it in batches. And then that real time means if they want to be doing a promo, and they want to know the particular customer that recharged 1,000 naira only at 11:59 p.m. That's the real data, right? So we are loading that data. That data is having information of your name, phone number, the time you recharged, you know, if it was successful, the amount you recharged, the day, and all those kind of details. Excuse me. It is already stored inside the file system. It is for us to now pull that information from the file system into the database. So we use Unix shell scripting and PLSQL for the ETL process. And for us to have a clean data, because some of these data sometimes they can be very, very dirty. What do I mean? We could have duplicates. It could not even be from their side. It could be that when you were loading it, you thought it didn't load properly or something, and you tried to load it again. So you're having duplicate files. So we have some systems that we've set in place to be able to help us, you know, um, um, solve, stuff like that. So we do normalization. So it's required that every standard database has a table space. Now, inside that table space has database files called whatever your table space is. You can give it any name, .dbf database file. So now that table space is helping you to integrate every data that you load in any of the tables. If you have 20 million tables, each of those tables are stored inside a database file in the table space. So if you now want to migrate,
Hello, Sadi.
yes.
Okay. I don't know if you have any PowerPoint slide to share with us as regards your presentation.
Okay, I could create one. In fact, I didn't even, I did not do anything. I'm just, I'm just saying it out from how I've worked, but I'm sure you. Oh, okay. I'm going to talk to this guy. What is his name? Kola. There are some
Okay.
of the works that I've done. He could share with you because I left it on. Before I left Octave that time around February, there were some works that I did there. It's on the system, so you have access to it. There are so much things on it that you can access. And we can always have another session, and I can make a PowerPoint and some slides to explain some of these things.
All right. We love that. We love that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll
Okay.
just follow up with you maybe after the class.
All right, that's fine.
So
Okay, so
Abi, do you have something to say?
Have something to say, and basically that's what you have just said. He made mention of PLC core, and he made mention of Unix shell, and he made mention of table and so on. Basically, if I actually wanted, what you have already said is what I should have said. For those who don't even know what Unix shell is all about, for those who don't know what table is all about, for those who don't know what PLS core is all about, for those who don't know what ETL is all about. I know ETL is extract, transform, and load, but
exactly.
basically people don't seem to know. For instance, you don't assume that people know in the base because nobody you didn't tell people what it does, what it means.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
And the problem
Right.
when you actually want to come for any presentation, don't assume that people know, and don't assume people don't know. You come prepared with presentation, show them what
Okay.
the Unix script is all about, show them what table looks like, how tables are being created, how tables are being created, how tables are being structured, what data type they need, and we don't just assume that people know, and we don't just assume people don't know. But
Okay, that's
best
fine.
of presentation comes
Hello,
with visualization.
Abi.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry. He should have even given me more details. I just thought he wanted me to, just say a few things. But
Yeah,
you're
yes.
right.
So I
You're
think
right.
that's for my part. Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. We could have another session, and I'm going to make some slides and do some proper explanation of some of the points. So we could just do like a brief today, and then maybe in another session I could be going into details of some of these things that we do. I think that's fine.
All right, thank you. You
Okay.
can continue.
Okay. Okay. So regarding table space and normalizations and all of that stuff. So that's just on the RDBMS. And okay, what other thing? Okay. So that's just on the face of telcos. That's some of the things that they used to require, and that is how they pick. If they want to do campaign, if they want more people to buy their SIM, there are some of these things that they do. So if you are a new customer, they could do some of this campaign that says, if you recharge 100 naira, you're getting 1,000 naira and stuff like that. So all these things, we Nigerians, we like AUF, we like bonuses. So it makes people want to even get the same, even if I'm going to use it within 2 months or so. I could just buy the same and use it for what I want to use it for, and then probably leave it. But within that period, they've gotten some customers. So all these things are like KPI for them. They are like what they want. And imagine how many millions of people we have in Lagos, not to talk of just Nigeria. So these things bring a lot of revenue for them, a lot of revenue. So that's on that. And then for other places like bank, they like to make some requests on. Probably, let me give an instance. Maybe they want to know customers that no matter what transaction they do, no matter what money leaves their account or comes back in, their balance doesn't exceed 150. That means no matter what they've spent, they still have a balance of at least 150 and above. So for those kind of customers, they like to probably send a message or want to compliment them or want to get more details on them. If they could bring in their family, they could bring in maybe their child or something to give them a campaign that they could create a child account for them or give them some offers. So stuff like that, we could write a procedure. Right, a procedure will help us. Procedures rather are queries, and normal queries. It could just be insert into this table A, and you're selecting from the source table, maybe so banks use a platform called Finacle. Finacle is a database where financial transactions of customers are kept. So it's called Finacle. So we could be connecting straight into Finacle database if we have the credentials, if we've been given the permission, of course, from the database admin. So once you have access to it, you could have just a read access just to be able to select, and you cannot do anything aside that. So you won't tamper with what is available in their data. So you will be doing a procedure that wants to select the customer demography, to know his current balance, to know the channels that he does his transaction, to see the transaction type, if it's a credit or debit, and all of that information to store in a particular table using date, because most of the transactions come day by day. So that kind of thing, you write a procedure for it. It is stored in a table, and like that, you'll be able to write, every other select query to be checking, what he did. Maybe you want to select where the customer transaction is, greater than or equal to 150, and then checking other conditions. So you could, do other presentations regarding what you've gotten from the analysis. So that's that on that. So now, moving into a big data space. So we've noticed that data are getting more voluminous and it's getting more heavy. And there has been a technology that they've adopted for quite some time, but we in Nigeria or some companies are just getting a hand of it, and it's talking about the Hadoop ecosystem. And that ecosystem just is about having to store your data in files, no longer inside the database, because the database, it's on premise. It's just one big rack of machines that have some gigabytes or petabytes of data that everything is stored. But in this case, the HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, is having machines inside a cluster. So each machine could be maybe 500 gig or whichever gig. But the point of it being a big data is because, okay, these data that we're going to be loading or that we're getting from these guys, they are voluminous, they are big. So there is a way we need to be, just for costs and so many other reasons, companies wouldn't want to keep with maybe Microsoft or IBM or Oracle because of the charges. And most of these technologies in Hadoop now, they are open source. So they would rather, what they are buying, what they are spending their money on is the storage. And that is all. They are not paying for any licensing and anything like that. So what they are spending their money on basically is just on the storage. And then they are all kept in a cluster. And the same application I'm storing inside the first machine is the same one I'm storing inside the second, third, fourth, and fifth machine. So in that way, they are all connecting to each other and they are, talking to each other. So I can be running, processing my files in batches. But in this case, I cannot be doing the same thing I'm doing in my traditional data warehouse like Oracle, like having to just select something to get something within few minutes. The purpose of the big data is just to be able to load streams of data that are very heavy. So if I want to keep on doing my normal transactional processing, I could be using other technology like Pig. Or if I want to load, they have this other technology called Hive. And Hive and Pig, they are almost the same thing. If you don't want to be writing Java or Python code, but you like the normal SQL style, then you can use Pig because it's a high-level programming language. So it's just the API that helps you to write the simple scripts that looks a lot like SQL. So that Pig will just transform that script for you, and then it will now run on a MapReduce job. And again, MapReduce job again is one of those tools again on big data. And what does it do? It's just like a module to allow you process the data across the clusters. So all those machines that you've stored together, MapReduce is helping you to, aggregate those data because they are all broken down into the different machines so that it will be easier for them to, communicate with each other. So it won't, take time and all. So that's one of the things. And currently what we are doing at MTN Cameroon, we use Spark and Python. And the database we use is called, we use Postgres, and Postgres is even open source. So you can even install Postgres on your machine and, create database on your own and run one of those scripts. So yeah, we use Postgres, and Spark is the new thing in town now, and it's actually very fast. It's a fast application that is helping us to process our data, and that is what is going on now. Sorry, I'm getting a message.
Abdul Kabir. Thank you, Julian. Abdul Kabir, do you have a question?
Okay.
Very good. You had a fantastic presentation, I could say, and we could just try as much as possible to list out those, write out those package that you mentioned. Although I have once Hives and Sparks, I've used Sparks, and I've used Python, I've used Postgres and PL SQL for Oracle, and
okay.
At least, but you should just. That's why I said presentation is always good. Having kind of a slides are always good so that people can fall back on it and see what you have said.
That's right.
said, without losing track. Thank God I'm in a place whereby I have a good internet, so I know I won't be cracking, I won't miss anything. But in the case
Okay.
whereby some people don't have connections and they want to fall back on something that you have said, they would could easily go back to the slide and read through and contact you guys for more if they actually want to learn more.
Okay. I'm sorry, Abiodun, are you recording this session? I think you should record
This
it for
session is
people that
being
also want to.
recorded.
Yeah, I know,
All right.
of course, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I could see that when you started recording.
All right. Good.
What I'm trying to say is
Okay.
people. Okay,
So
if
we
I
are
don't know,
supposed to have another speaker with
if I don't know, Hive is spelled as HIVE. I could have a problem. I'm looking for something wrong, right? If I don't know how Spark is being spelled, or if I don't know how Python is being spelled, if I don't know what ETL means, if I don't know what Postgres SQL is all about, or PL SQL,
Yeah,
I might
feel
be
you.
thinking like, what is it saying? But when I see it, I know I can easily go to Google and say, oh, this is what it means. I can learn more from there. I can have interest from there.
That's right.
All
That's
right.
right.
Thank you, Abdikabir. Abdikabir, are you one of my connection on LinkedIn?
I don't know. That's why. Yeah, but we can actually look into that. You can actually send me your LinkedIn that I can just add you up because you can't add me as well. I have a kind of security on my own LinkedIn. So, or if you can just tell me, I will just add you up here.
Okay.
Just type it or copy it. I'll just add you up now.
Okay, my LinkedIn account, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Just add it on the chat, so I'll just add it.
Okay. All right, no problem.
It's a really good, it's a fantastic experience you have there with the banking. And especially, when dealing with the financial institutions, it's always good to have a kind of robust knowledge and so that you're dealing with people's money.
Yes, so
Don't make any mistake anywhere.
yes, so.
That's a good
But I should have. You're right. I didn't know I was going to. I should have prepared a slide. Actually, I should have prepared a slide. Yes, because he told me on Wednesday, and I've been back and forth with work, and I didn't take time to plan this. So I'm sorry. Yeah, so Kafka is just for fast processing. I haven't started using Kafka because we're not in a we have not I'm not in the project of using it yet. So
when you are in the project, it makes it easier to learn.
Exactly.
I've always been looking for opportunity to have data analytics or data science project to work on. I've never had anyone. I only read books. I've actually been developer for quite a long time and trying as much as possible to see a project, even kind of internship or anywhere, so I can see, I can measure my understanding of.
Yeah, and honestly, I think you are going to enjoy it because so
with Blue Chip, right?
Yeah, I worked with Blue Chip and I left. Then I joined Octave Analytics for some time, but I came back to Blue Chip.
So
they asked me for internship if it's possible. No
okay,
payments.
So currently, I haven't been to the office since April. We've been working from the house.
Yeah.
So I don't have information of what is going on with the HR and stuff. But we've been working most of our meetings, most of the projects we've been having, and the stakeholders and the clients we've been talking to. We do it most of the time online. I have not stepped into that office since April. So is until I have a communication with probably the HR to know how they are recruiting and stuff before we know how it's done.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Abdikabir. Ariolua, I don't know whether you have a question for our guest.
All right. Thank you. I must say, the job well done actually, even though you said you didn't prepare very well for it, but it left to me just hearing someone someone that has been in the, should I call the business already? Like you be able to actually apply some of this to real life projects. So it's actually a nice privilege to be hearing from you. And like
Thank you.
they've been saying all the while, like it would be nice to have one handout or a slide to just follow through.
Don't
Like
mind
I
me.
was able
Don't
to
mind
get
me.
one of the
I'm
things you
going to
mentioned, the
prepare
Spark,
something like that.
the Kafka. Kafka is a KAFKA. So I got that one
Exactly.
conveniently on Google. So like
Okay.
those things won't be actually too hard to get. Like once
Okay.
I feel there's a way you just know how to spell these things when you're already in the line like this. I don't understand.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
But no
right,
problem.
but
I
it
hope
would be nice to have
we.
at least more to see something to work with.
All right. All right. I hope we have
Yeah,
another
yeah.
session so we could
Yeah, I
talk
really
more.
hope so. I'm looking forward to it
All right.
you've listed working at Nine Mobile, Diamond Bank, FCMB, MTN, as
And
Cameroon,
I
pretty
told you
apparently.
that
Like
this guy is
that's
a
nice.
great guy. I didn't even know.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even know that he has worked with blue chip before. I didn't even know that until I checked his LinkedIn profile now. I didn't actually know that. So Alayoju, you are great. Like you are very very good. Like seriously. I don't know why he came in late for the session.
Yeah, that's Mr.
So
Miller.
I didn't hear. Oh, okay. So we have Mr. Julian in the house, is our
1
industry
minute.
expert at blue chip technologies. So I think let me just go through his profile what I have here. So Mr. Julian has over 3 years of experience in data analytics and engineering, in the development and support of data management platforms for data warehousing, business intelligence, and also advanced analytics services using traditional like Oracle, Microsoft, SAP, etc., and open source like Python, Kafka, Spark, Postgre tools. He has created automation program for ingestion and data extraction, transformation and loading ETL solutions using Unix shell scripting. He has also demonstrated history of working in the information technology and services industry. So he didn't talk about where we have worked for like we worked together for like maybe 2 months. Let me just say we didn't really have much time to work together then. So but we have worked together before he went for big technology.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think then when you came in, I I was at FCMB, but there was a new project that came in, so I had to leave FCMB, and they took me to eTransact. So
So
within
so
within
that
that space,
okay.
within that space, before I left Octave, I worked at eTransact and Coronation Merchant Bank and FCMB. So I think that was the reason why, we didn't see much. I used to come around to the office and just do a few works when you guys have gone up and just leave again.
Yeah.
So
So
that's 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 the
that's
reason.
how they that's how started. They used to transfer them from
I
project
beg.
A to project C. So it's a lifesaver. Anytime they have problem, that's when they call them. It's like the Oracle, it's like the Google.
It's
So
okay.
so so do you have anything to say to us, or maybe as regards challenges you faced while learning, like like some of these tools you learn, some of these languages you learn. So what are your challenges there?
Okay, so I think some of the challenges is in respect to some of the sites that I've worked, because some of these sites they are heavy on their KPI and their SLA. So SLA means service level agreement, meaning if they've spoken with the business that we want this report to be out every day before 8:30, and if you're the one in charge of making the reports ready before 8:30, if it doesn't happen before then, they charge the company, and then you could pay for it. So the first time it happened to me, that was when I knew that, okay, these things should be taken seriously. You shouldn't be taking some of these things with levity, and some of it is probably not your fault. So we have network issues, we have glitches. It could be that the files that we used to get are coming with MC files. But the thing is, you need to communicate when there is something wrong. That, okay, we have not been able to get the files ready for now. But just send mails, let your guys be in copy that something is wrong, so they won't have to feel like, why is this report not ready? There was no communication. They keep looking for all those things from you. So one of the things I learned is having to communicate a lot, even if there is issue or there is no issue. If the file is available, let people know that the file is available so they can do their KPI, because every other person is dependent on, what you're bringing out. Because one person is also disturbing one other manager if the manager is talking to the marketer, like that. So the chain is coming back to you because you are the data guy. You are the one making the things available. Do you understand? So, and also one thing I also learned is don't drop table. It is a very, very, very risky thing, except if that table is a temporary table. Do not drop table. Dropping table means every attribute of whatever information is in that table, you are deleting it. So truncate and drop are two different things. If I have data inside a particular table I've created, maybe the table is called TMP underscore transaction table. Now, it means that table is holding something regarding transactions. Now, the ideal way they do it is there's a particular server called staging server. Now, that server is where you get your hands dirty, where you do the ETL. It's possible that you have duplicate records inside that server. It's fine. But there is another server called ODS or ADW, whichever. They have different names they call them. But what I'm saying is there are two servers. One server is having where you do your ETL, where you do the processing, where you have to aggregate all this data from wherever source they are coming from. And then the second server should be having the normalized details where everything is neat. So if you're having duplicate record on the server 1, whatever it is on the server 2 should be neat. That means I shouldn't be seeing my name twice, having the same amount transaction spent, the same transaction type, the same time. It's not possible. There is no way I can go to the ATM and withdraw at the same time with the same money. There is no way I can make call to the same person at the same time. So those are duplicate records. So that is when we do the normalization. And some of the things that we used to do this normalization is unique identifiers, or we use some functions like merge. And so all these things help to help normalize your table. So like I said, be careful of dropping table. If you have details that you are not sure of, you could ask your teammates, is this table available in the second server? Should I clear it now? We have space, we have issues of space. Maybe there is no space in the database again, and we need more space because we're still loading more files. So you need to confirm from the server 1 if everything you need is already in the server 2 and it is neat before you can delete whatever is there. So some of those challenges, that's what I faced with dropping table, hoping that, this thing is going to drop. Let me not tell anybody. It's almost 8:30, it's going to drop. It's going to drop now. And then it doesn't drop. Then they will penalize, and then they will remove your salary and all that kind of thing. So we need to be conscious of things like that.
Okay, I think I faced that challenge one time like that. Like there was this next thing there's this master sheet, Excel master sheet. So you used to know like 7 scripts, at least 7 scripts like you have to follow it process by process. Then
Okay.
I just think that I don't know. So I was like, so you used to drop some table, then create again, and stuff like that. But I just went to go and drop the table I'm not supposed to drop. It wasn't funny.
If they catch you.
So and this kind of drop, and you have committed the transaction. You can't roll back. You can't roll back, or you drop and you purge. When you drop and purge, after it's recyclable.
Exactly.
So that's you just have to avoid. So one more thing. So what challenge do you think? Okay, let me use you as a case study. So maybe on site, there's this class that is usually with the analytics team and the IT guys. So what challenge you face as regards that when you have to maybe run some processes, have to maybe run some jobs, and and the IT guys are giving that the limitations, like you can't do some transactions and all the stuff like that. I think you know what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Okay, I think I understand. So I think some of the challenges that can arise from you having to run some particular query, and then the IT guys, or the people, that the admin guys that are the owner, or they are the administrator that check the activities of what is going on in the processes of those tables. What they do is they will kill the job, and the reason is because maybe your query is taking so much process from the database. So you're not the only one connected to the database that you're running. So maybe what you're running is taking a lot of process. It could cause a deadlock. It means you have access to table A. Every other person in this group has access to table A. Now, what every other person does is they just go there to select what they want to select. Maybe they want to just get a transaction that happens in a day, and they just do that and go. But you, because you're running a very big query, they won't be able to do what they are doing because of the big, so your query could be very, very ambiguous. So there are ways to optimize your query. There are some things that you will write. If I look at it, I'll be like, I shouldn't have written it this way. Let me change it for you and let me write it this way. So it won't take so much resources in the database. So I think it's one of the challenges that we used to have with the kind of script. So sometimes if you check some of the jobs I wrote there, it runs early in the morning around 4 a.m. Nobody's at the office at 4 a.m. now, Abby. So whatever it is I'm running in 4 a.m., it shouldn't take more than 1 hour, 30 minutes before everybody comes to the office. The data is already available. So that is one of the things that that we face with time and process space. So that is why some of these guys, they will just kill your job. They will just kill the process. They could even send them in that who is responsible for running so. They will check the PID, process identity number. So once they see it from their side, they say that this thing is taking a lot of resources on the database. They will kill it. you can't. Because of you, they can't be waiting when other people when other banking guys needs to run something. They need to get something that drops normally 5 minutes, but because of what you're running, it's taking them 30 minutes. Nobody has time, so they will kill it. So if you have anything that you're running and you see that it's going to take so long, schedule it to run in the morning, schedule it to run at night. Find out if the table is going to be accessible at night, and just run the jobs at night. When you come back tomorrow morning, it will be available.
All right, Mr. Julian, there is one more thing I would like to ask again. So let's say there's a particular server, for example, and there's a particular table, say table A in that server. So if I'm running a process that is going to retrieve something from that table A, and another user, another client is trying to access that same table at the same time. So is it possible for both of us to access that table at the same time? So
Sure. Yes, it is. It is possible. It is possible. What you are doing is a DML query. What the person is also doing is a DML. So it is possible.
Can I come in?
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Okay.
Go
on,
yeah, it's like when you're actually developing an application, just like you are buying Amazon or any of those. Transactions occur, people query database, people query table at the same time, concurrently, without anyone interfering with any of them. And that is the beauty of relational database.
Exactly.
Even NoSQL, just like MongoDB or Firebase, those kind of, they are more scalable, they are more robust, they are more portable, and they allow concurrency, and that's the beauty of those stuff. And just like you said, do not drop tape.
Don't drop it though. If you drop it, don't purge so that you can go back to your archive log to retrieve it if you're a database admin.
I started, I just told you yesterday, I started with MSS SQL
Okay.
about 15 years ago. So when I finished from university, I was retained. So I had to manage a kind of um, admission process in the University of Ibadan. It was really nasty. So as someone who just graduated and got a job from the same university, I was excited, and I was trying to make my hand dirty because I actually was developing an application,
Okay.
which I needed to connect to a database, right? And that database is already in existence, but
What
there was an
kind of database? Sorry, is it
database.
MySQL?
It's access.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
access.
Okay.
Then most universities never did online stuff, so it was just Visual Basic 6.0 so we're just making it manually. You get it from Excel, then you put it into the SQL to access SQL, then you write programs for it. So what actually did was I made a drop on database, and every data done. I didn't even know that it went off. I went home. And the following day was the matric day. So they went to the system to generate and they said database not table not found. Do you know what it means?
Just do the miracle that you can do. Make sure
I
you do
don't
the miracle.
I was sweating, my leg. My leg was shaking, and they have to look for login who worked on the system last. And my name just appeared. So there was no way I can deny it.
Hey,
So I had to go around, went around for the source to get those things back. That day, if I see anything like a drop, even though I knew there's no danger, I will find alternative to it. It was really nasty, seriously. And every time I teach people about SQL, I always tell them, please don't come and say he said drop. Oh, I will teach you drop, but don't tell me that I said you should use drop in your own daily life, daily activity. You can only drop when you have a kind of copy. You have a copy of database, and it's always good for you to do backup. You have to do backup
Yeah.
every night before you go, because anything can happen. Hackers can hack your system. They can erase the data you have. So back it up in multiple places so that you can fall back on it.
Yes.
Be a kind of culture.
All right. Kabu. So I know I'm not. I have been saying one last thing since. So one
Go
last
on.
thing
You can
again.
go on.
So one last thing.
No,
So
I'm
what
not
if
please.
it causes a transaction log when it comes to SQL? So can you please enlighten us on that?
On what?
Transaction log,
Transaction log or transaction processing?
like log, LOCK.
Oh,
LOCK
LOCK.
transaction log.
Oh, okay. So, in cases where we have transaction log, it could be, I don't know if you've experienced it, some of the error message, if you check some of those procedure I wrote, that helps us to get transaction daily. In cases whereby we have transaction log, it could be that the source the source table in that database is busy. And what you are going to do there is not just select, you are doing an insert as select from. So if the table is busy and you're also trying to get something from it, it's going to be a log. You won't be able to do anything on it. In some cases, you will see something called object log. So it doesn't even have to be a transaction log. It will write object log. So it is until the owner, the database guys of the main table, if they are done with whatever it is they're doing, it could not even be that they could revoke the select access that they've given to everybody because something is wrong. So once they are done, if they revoke the access, if you are trying to run anything to fetch data from that table, you won't be able to do anything on it. So it is until they've given back the access to the users that have access to it before it can continue. In cases whereby you're already running a query and then they do something like that, the query is not going to drop because there's always a commit after every insert. So if it's insert and the commit statement is not there, whatever it is that you inserted, you will not see it there again.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Julian. So to wrap it up, I don't know whether Richard or Ariola or Kabir have any question for you before we call it a day.
Anyone can also share, where they are and what they are, trying to get. I mean, we could do that, and let's.
So Richard, do you have a question for our industry? Is a bad guy? Is a bad guy? Ask your question. Ask a question. Any SQL question, ask him. So Ariola also you can ask him questions. So if you don't have questions to ask him, I'll ask him to ask you guys questions.
And there's no need for that.
So
maybe I'll just give him my assignments so I can do for him.
Are you paying me?
What did you say?
I'll give you my assignment.
I'll do it to just pay me. My money is not on the cost.
With the way Mr. Manuel described me, I know your money will be expensive.
Nah, why?
So if do you have any advice to give young data enthusiasts that are coming into big data space, the analytics space, the data science field? If you have any advice you can give us before we end up the session?
So basically, like I said earlier, it's still on, the actual work, right? The actual work that you're doing, being careful with, always cross-check with somebody. And if you go for interviews, there are some questions that they ask that it's just you should be taken into consideration. They could ask you what is the meaning of cursor, and you've not even done anything regarding cursor before. They could ask you, what's the difference between an implicit cursor and implicit cursor, and all those kind of things. So there are so much things online. You could check interview questions online to see, the kind of questions they could be asking. Even if the person is coming to do an intern, some of these things they would want to ask. So we are fine. I think we're just going to do fine. And SQL is not that hard when you start. Within a few months, once you get comfortable with it, you start getting advanced, and then you start, getting your hands into having to use maybe Python, SQL alchemy, be mixing your SQL with Python. You have some, you could be using pandas or NumPy to be doing some of those things. And then if you want to go deep, start going on advanced instead of the normal traditional data warehouse that we've been using, like the Oracle, MySQL. Just go into the open source, try something on Hive. Even though Hive, that thing is what I'm doing right now. It's the installation is just something else. I have not been able to install it, and because everything has to be done inside the Linux box environment. So the test environment I'm using in Cameroon, I don't want to install it there. And maybe I will leave the project within 8 months. So I need to try it on my system first before I install it on their environment. So I won't make mistakes. So the tools are interesting, actually. And, find someone that also has the spirit with you that can help it more interesting. I've faced error that I had to call someone that I've worked with before. I worked with the guy at Blue Chip, but the guy is now working with MTN Nigeria, the main office at Falomo. And you'll be amazed that people are really, really bright. They'll be giving you solutions from the phone as if they know the actual problem you're facing. So find people that have the same interest with you, and you will enjoy it.
All right. So you guys can get get to connect with Sir Julian and LinkedIn, he can actually give you solution on phone. Like he actually knows what problem you are facing. So he's just using
Who asked
himself
you?
as an example.
Who asked you? No. Are you
So,
still on FCMB project?
no, I'm actually I'm off FCMB project for now. I'm in the training department. I'm in
All right.
the training department. So I'm just everywhere. I'm just everywhere. So
Yeah, that's fine.
so thank you for today's session.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
yeah. So
And
we
guys,
will
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that I did not, I didn't bring any slide, and I'm going to do something and share with Abiodun.
So I believe we are going to have another interesting session like this. Maybe so I'm going to communicate with Sajid. So we would like to have him one more time.
All right.
So thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So
Thank you.
I would like you guys to clap for Mr. Junior for
There is
having
no.
us.
Are you playing? Are we in a class? Stop.
So so thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All
All right.
right.
I will connect with you guys on LinkedIn. I will check you guys out.
All right.